Captain Cats. Acting up, it's John Hanna. Stand up Canadian, it's Bobby Mair. And their team captain, Sean Luck. And facing them tonight, kick-starting again, it's Example. Good golly, Miss Holly, it's Holly Walsh. And their team captain, Jon Richardson. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Hello, and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 48% of men in long-term relationships don't know their own clothes size? Although if you've been in a relationship more than 5 years, chances are it's extra large. Only 2% of the Earth's population are natural redheads, so technically it wouldn't be genocide, more of a tidy-up. And 94% of men consider themselves romantic. I'm really romantic. I often stand under my girlfriend's window and serenade her with my guitar. I say my girlfriend, it's the woman next door. I say serenade, I mean stare. And also, that's not a guitar I'm holding. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panelist's job to guess the British public's most popular talking points. Sean, John, Bobby, what do you think people have been talking about over the last week?
Been a big hurricane in America.
There has been a little bit of a hurricane, yeah. It's 1,000 miles wide and has devastated America. It's like Susan Boyle 2.
It's terrible, this terrible hurricane, and it's very difficult to do material about a hurricane or jokes or even talk about it in a light-hearted way because I'm not interested. Interested in us. They don't give a shit about us, the Americans. You open a newspaper here, it's all about the American elections, about Obama and Mitt Romney. I was over in America recently. There wasn't one mention about the Lib Dem conference. Not one.
One of the governors, or I think the Connecticut governor or something, he said, and this sounds terrible in my accent, so you won't get the full impact. He said, the last time we saw anything like this was never. You sound like a dick, but last time we saw anything about this was never.
Considering it's a national disaster, it was a lame time to make a bad pun about Frankenstorm. I thought that was terrible. I mean, had it happened at any other time of year, would they have gone the same thing, like Yom Kippuring with rain?
Yom Kippuring with rain is brilliant. I sort of wish they'd waited.
Or if they called it Windependence Day or something like that. I just thought it was lame.
What do you mean lame? These are brilliant.
I thought it was amazing how loads of American preachers came forward and said, this is a punishment for homosexuality. If it was, then why is it straight after the hurricane was there a double rainbow? I mean, that's the most gay thing that could happen.
Iran and Syria have claimed that they did it on purpose.
Yeah, but that's a rare stab at humour from them. Iranians go, let's have a joke for once. Once every 100 years we do a joke in Iran, and that's our joke. They probably also claim the Jubilee Regatta rain and ITV2, that was us. The other thing I want to talk about is the damage. What's there's an estimate, isn't there? What's the
the estimate for the damage of Hurricane Sandy
what is it?
$55 billion, rising all the time.
And that was a hurricane that hit 2 or 3 days ago. So how? Some bloke's just gone out and gone... taking his pen, man, down. $55 billion, I reckon. Between 50, 55. I mean, I can do it cheaper in ply.
Because the American accent is so built around movies, they can't help but exaggerate now. You can't say in an American... Like, in a Cockney accent, you just go, I don't know, I'll do it for about £5. But you can't in an American accent go, that'll cost you. But you just get so excited with that accent, you go, that'll cost you about $50 billion!
Classic American. You know, they've missed a real opportunity here because they're a commercial country. You know, they should have give it sponsored the hurricane. So it should be called, and today we're very worried about the effects of Hurricane Danon.
Let's have a look and see whether Hurricane Sandy is one of the most talked about things this week. Of course, yes. Yes, Hurricane Sandy has battered the eastern coast of America. Hurricane Sandy, the only thing that's fucked more Americans is Harry from One Direction. Thousands of Americans are now reduced to eating emergency rations, or as we call them, double portions. John's team, what have the nation been talking about over the last week?
If you mean by what have people been talking about, do you mean what forums have been going crazy about? Disney have only bought Lucasfilm, and that means something to some people. Fortunately, those people don't leave the house, so if you don't go online, it really doesn't affect you. It's peak heroin, Star Wars. That's all it is. They just prolong it because nerds are just like, I just need it. I just need one more space film where someone gets zapped. Oh, shit.
Were you a fan of the Star Wars franchise?
No.
No.
Well, the original ones, the good ones, yeah, the ones with the story and the good dialogue and stuff.
The good one, the ones when we were a kid watching a kids movie.
Those ones,
were good.
Yeah.
When we grew up and watched a kids movie,
But the ones
it was
that were
rubbish.
made just to sell the toys, no.
Yeah, well, they're all basically toy adverts, but they're bloody good ones.
You know, those people say I've never seen Star Wars. I wouldn't say I've never seen them, but I've just never watched them. They've been on, and I've just gone, I don't actually watch it.
You never really
I
paid
understand
attention.
that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad.
Spoiler alert.
But he wasn't around when he was growing up, and that's why he dresses like that now, because he's in Fathers for Justice. He's trying to see his son.
Do you know what else is weird, though? Like, when they make prequels, and the weapons that they have in the prequels are better than the ones that they have later. That's just really weird.
Are you not excited by this?
Well, the only danger is that Lucasfilm own the rights to Labyrinth, and if they remake Labyrinth and ruin it, by which I mean don't cast me in every role, there will be deaths. Not the rapper, Labyrinth.
No.
He's a douche, right? Is he?
He's more of a singer, but he's all right.
Oh, is he? Is he not a rapper?
I'm on TV, he's lovely, yeah.
You could start a proper rapper war.
I could do that. I could start a war. I could do it more directly.
Go on then.
Just look down the lens and say, oi, rappers, suck my balls. Except you don't have to suck my balls.
I'm more of a singer anyway,
You're a singer.
so...
What's a rapper then?
Rapper's just,
What's a rapper then? He's in his cardigan there. He's in a mug of tea.
I feel I need to know.
Tell me about this rapping.
When does a rap become a song?
Are you serious?
Sort of.
Do you know the difference between Jay-Z and Beyonce and what they do?
I know the difference
Well,
enough
one's
to
a
know.
mummy and one's a daddy.
This is
So
awful.
if I say, like, I went to the shop and got some chips.
You can't get chips from a shop.
Isn't it supposed to rhyme anyway? Chips and shop don't rhyme.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's only the first line.
Get the next line out, go on. Go on, you went to the shop and bought some chips.
Yeah, then I got some ketchup and other dips.
Should we look and see whether Star Wars is one of the most talked about things this week?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Disney has bought Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise for £2.5 billion. If you haven't seen any of the more recent Star Wars films, I don't want to ruin them for you. That's George Lucas's job. Sean's team, what else have the nation been talking about over the last week?
David Cameron apparently is humiliated in a vote in the House of Commons about the EU budget. He's got to go to Brussels and argue about some EU budgetary problems.
Yeah, he doesn't want to pay them £13.6 billion.
We pay something like £100 each into the EU, but the only people who get anything out of it are farmers. So really what we should all do is get a cow each. Keep it on a roundabout. You don't have to worry about, visiting, because the cars will keep it in place. And that way we'll get something back out of the EU.
There was a phenomenal Paxman thing this week. I watched Paxman on Newsnight, where he had a Labour one, a Lib Dem one and a Tory one. And he literally hated all of them, constantly. He didn't even let the man say. He said, well, what are you going to do about this, then? And the Labour lady went, well, I think, oh, yeah, typical, you're not going to answer the bloody question, are you? And I just wonder if he's either like that all the time, or if he gets home and he's just completely had enough, and his wife goes, what do you want for tea? He must have the angriest showers, because the shower is where I really lose my shit.
Oh, that's...
You know, like when you've got phone BT or something, And you really know that you're going to phone them up and go, this is ridiculous. Well, no, yeah, I'll pay more. Bye. In the shower is where I go, yeah, well, you did... Well, I'll come down there with a gun, see how you like that, yeah. But Paxman in the shower must just be... Because he's, like, an aggressive dick anyway. He must just be punching tiles out and just turning the hose on himself. Like, answer the question.
Turning the hose on himself? Are you showering outside again? Let's see if it's up there. Yes, under the EU budget proposals, the UK will pay £13.6 billion, Germany will cough up £20 billion, and Greece will contribute 2 yoghurts and some leftover moussaka. John's team, what else have the nation been talking about over the last week?
Oh, well, it's cheeky Silvio Berlusconi. That naughty old fraudster sex pest.
Oh, they're trying to lock him up.
They're going to lock him up.
Yeah, but no, they said they can't because he's old or something and he's got health problems.
No, it's also he's taken so much Viagra they can't shut the cell door.
He does look incredible for all the stuff. Like, the stress of all that fraud would have killed me, and all that sex with prostitutes and whatnot. He's the next Bertolli advert. I guarantee that. Just him coming down for breakfast in the morning, shattered from shagging, just a little bit of Bertolli on your breakfast.
What's the story on this?
He's been sentenced to 4 years in prison, which I think they've reduced to a year. But you can't even... Like, Italian prisons, you can't imagine... I don't mean to stereotype, but you can't imagine that they're that bad. Like, imagine they got coffee machines in the cells. It's like 2 hours for lunch. You want a little bit of red wine? A little bit of red. It's a human right, mate. I know you're a bloody sex pest, but you want a little bit of wine with your dinner.
So in Italian prisons, they've got Spanish waiters, yeah? Well, I can tell you it's not one of the most talked about things this week, but ex-Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has been sentenced to jail for tax fraud. Fingers on buzzers, 2 more things to get.
A whole team have accused a referee of being racist, which is clever. That's clearly a plan they came up with after players got accused of being racist. They sat around and they had one of their meetings, and they went, what if we accused everyone else of being racist? And they thought, we'll try that next week. And Mark Clattenburg's defence was, he said, I can't be racist, some of my best outfits are black.
I should say that Mark Clattenburg has denied these allegations.
Well, they've got form for this, haven't they? The Chelsea team, actually. John Terry, Frank Lampard and Ashley Cole. Funny little triumvirate. But a couple of years ago, they accused Graham Poll of something which they then had to retract after it was proved that it was completely made up and they just sort of wanted to get back at the big guys.
Problem is, you can't get behind it because referees are inherently just sad people. Like Mark Clattenburg, it says he began refereeing as a teenager. You think, oh, you poor bastard. Even I see that and think, loser! But the players who accused him of saying racist things, they didn't actually hear it. It was another player, David Luiz, who said that he heard it. Now, I don't know if you've seen David Luiz interviewed, but I'm going to speculate, at his level of English, he might possibly have misunderstood. The man...
Racist. He used the term monkey, which is offensive. Not if you put the word cheeky in front of it.
Like, the police are getting involved. Like, if someone's racist now, the police get involved. And, like, I get it, racism, very bad. But if we are going to start prosecuting everyone who's racist, then in, like, 3 months, all our grandparents are going to be in jail. Well, that's depressing.
I know a guy who goes to my local pub, because I live near Chelsea, and he's got a tattoo of John Terry on him. And I was like, do you actually like John Terry? He was like, nah, he's a wanker, but, you know, it's JT, innit?
He's had a tattoo of someone he doesn't like.
On him.
Well, that's brilliant, because most people get a tattoo and then they think, oh, I might regret this later, but he can regret it straight away. Let's have a look and see whether Mark Clattenburg, the allegedly racist referee, is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, a Premier League referee has been accused of racism. Football should transcend colour. It shouldn't matter whether you're black or white, or in the case of Alex Ferguson, kind of purple. OK, we've got one more thing to get. Fingers on buzzers. What else have people been talking about?
Is it the X Factor? Is it the fact that Gary Barlow and Talisa had a little bitch fight?
He said she had fag-ash breasts.
Yeah, but I've seen the video and it could have smelled a lot worse.
The comeback was so childish, though, Because she tried to think of another insult for him, and she just couldn't think of any other type of insult, so she just did another breath thing. So he went, oh, your breath smells of fag ash, and she went, you drink red wine sometimes.
OK, let's have a look at everyone's favourite finalist, Rylan.
Expect to make some noise! With the taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under. Taste of a poison paradise. I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic? Let's have some fun! I'm horny, 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 horny. So horny, I'm horny, horny, horny. I'm horny, 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 horny. So horny, I'm horny, 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 so horny.
What the fuck was that? Was that some Hurricane Sandy footage or something?
He starts with make some noise. That's a legal requirement, because he has to say, make some noise, because this is going to sound absolutely awful.
There's this sort of obligatory stuff, like as a rapper, do you have to, when you come on, do you have to say, like, certain things, like, you know, when rappers come out and they're like, you're ready for this, like, someone's going to go, no, I'm not ready for this. My friend's just in the loo, could you just wait a minute?
The thing rappers always say that annoys me is put your hands in the air like you just don't care. I'll show you how much I don't care.
I've never done that.
You've never said put your hands in the air like you just don't care.
I say everyone from the front to the back, clap, clap, I think, when I get drunk. On stage.
Did John write that for you?
No, he didn't.
Clap, clap from the front to the back now sounds to me like something you would say in a
It's
clinic
not
on a
song,
Monday
it's
morning. What seems to be the problem I've got, clap, clap from the front to the back. Example, do you watch it? Have you ever sort of
I'll
watched
be
it?
honest, that's the first time I've seen that this year.
Right.
That's the first clip I've seen. I refuse to watch it, and now that you've helped me by coming on today, you've backed up all my reasons for not watching it.
Well, why don't you watch it? Do you think, is it ruining music? What's
I don't
going
think
on?
it's ruining music. I mean, people buy it, so there's obviously someone out there who likes it. I just think if you're a young musician, it's, you know, you should go on tour and learn to write songs and make mistakes and do it the old-fashioned way.
Right, OK, thank you. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's bloody beautiful, that is what you said there. That's beautiful.
Should we have a look and see whether the X Factor is one of the most talked about things this week? It is. Yes, the X Factor is heating up. Apparently, Rylan had 8 bum notes last Sunday, each handed to him by Louis, saying, meet me in the dressing room after. So at the end of that round, Sean, Bobby and John have 2 points, and John, Example and Holly have 3 points. That's it for part 1. See you after the break. Welcome back to 8 out of 10 Cats. Our next round is Pick of the Polls. John's team, your turn first. What do you like the look of?
I like the look of the skydivers.
OK. Here's your related question. Most people would describe themselves as a risk-taker. True or false?
Well, come to the right guy here.
Loosen your cardie. Tell us what you think. You're a risk-taker?
I mean, this cardie was a risk. Green with grey. I did it. I don't know. Do you take... Risks are bad, aren't they?
I got on Ryanair this summer. I'm not doing that again.
I don't understand why you have things like flight mode on mobile phones on planes. Just turn it off. It's 2 hours of your life. Just don't take the risk.
What risk? There's no risk. I leave it on.
When they say to switch it to flight mode and the person next to me puts it to flight mode, I think, you prick. What is the point of the risk? You could kill everyone on this plane just because you accidentally flicked it off flight mode and the whole plane exploded.
Well, John, when I get on a plane, I don't even turn my chainsaw off.
Holly, you've taken a risk, didn't you? You jumped off something, didn't
Yeah, I
you?
jumped off a 40-foot pier and I broke my arm, so I'm a risk taker.
Why did you jump off the pier?
Because I was asked to do it.
So who asked you to do it? Why did you...
Well, it was part of this Worthing Birdman where you have to go and try and build yourself some sort of homemade aircraft with which to fly off a... I mean, that's 2 words that should never go together. Like homemade and condom, that should never go together.
Cling film.
Cling film. I'd say a Snickers wrapper, but anyway.
Snickers wrapper, you're optimistic.
I might have a nut allergy, it's not worth the risk.
Okay, so taking risks.
Yeah. I used to get really drunk and then I'd black out, and that was like the most exciting risk. And then one time I got really drunk at a festival and took lots of drugs. The drug dealers, they were dressed like fairies, so this fairy floated up to me and was like, hey, do you want some honey oil? And I don't know what that is, but I took it. And then I blacked out, and my last memory was falling into a river. And then I woke up the next morning, and I was on this steep, muddy hill in the forest, and I don't know how I got there, and I was on a mattress.
Here is my question. What did you take, and where can I get some?
We can
You'd
party.
never take drugs.
If I woke up on a flying mattress up a tree...
No, it wasn't flying, it was on the mud.
Oh, no.
And I didn't have shoes on.
Not worth the risk.
Sean, have you taken any risks?
I read a pop-up book about giraffes once. That was quite dangerous.
I don't think giraffes don't bite, though. That would have been fine.
I don't think stuff through.
If you get into it, everything's a risk, isn't it? Every time you talk to someone, they could turn out to be a dick. Every time you get in your car, you could have a crash. Every time you order a drink, it could be poisoned. I mean, technically, I'm a hero. The risks I face every day. Every time you go to the toilet, you could trap your penis in your fly. I could just sit at home, sellotaped to a chair made of cotton wool. But I don't. Every day I get up, I growl at myself in the mirror, and I say, bring it on.
Have you taken any risks?
Some jobs that I've taken, I wish I hadn't, yeah.
You know when you do a sex scene, do you ever worry that you might get an erection?
Well, there's a kind of famous thing where you sort of have to... You worry that you might, and you also worry that you might not.
Yeah, but those are different films, aren't they?
All right, let's get some answers on this. So, most people describe themselves as risk takers. True or false? What do you think, John?
I think false. We're very risk
You're going to go
averse.
false? What are you going to go for, Sean?
Yeah, false.
False. OK, I can tell you the answer is false. Only 46% of people would describe themselves as a risk taker. I know someone who always likes to live close to the edge. Bono. OK. Sean, Bobby, John, what do you like the look of?
I like... Oh, the girl. Who is she?
That is Pippa Middleton.
Oh, OK.
Off of sort of royalty-ish. Oh. OK, so Pippa Middleton has been in the headlines after releasing a party planning book. So we asked our studio audience, are you more likely to buy a book if it's written by a celebrity? Yes or no?
If I wrote a book, I'd call it Confessions of a Hollywood Gigolo. And then the first sentence would be, I must confess, I have never been a gigolo in Hollywood. Katie Price, she's written loads of books, hasn't she?
Katie Price has written some brilliant books,
She's not
yeah?
really written them, has she?
Yeah, it's interesting, 'cause I've seen loads of photos of her doing various things, you know, riding horses, playing with her kids. I've never seen one of her at a desk sweating over a typewriter or thumbing through a thesaurus going,
Dildo, that's the word.
Holly, do you read any of these
Yeah,
books?
I'm obsessed with them. I love
You're
celebrity.
obsessed with
Yeah,
them?
I absolutely love celebrity.
Favourite? Do you have a favourite?
I think the Crankies one was an absolute classic.
Yeah, the Crankies book is an extraordinary thing.
It's an incredible piece of work. Punch-ups with Paul Daniels, you know, having sex with people who are from the circus. There's just, like, so much information there.
Does it tell you how to meet girls in the circus?
very niche book, that is.
Is there like a
I
guide?
want a book on how to meet girls in a circus.
Because I went to a circus one time and there was all these sexy trapeze artists. Then afterwards I waited around, but I didn't really know how to start the conversation.
Yeah.
But if there was a book...
Example, have you ever read a celebrity biography?
No, I read Roy King's, I think.
Good, yeah. Has it taught you anything? Did it add
So
any
it taught me
value?
that I don't like Roy King.
Would you write one? Would you consider... 'cause, you know,
I don't know, like, people have approached me, but I think you've got to wait till you're at least 42.
yeah, 42 is the age you've got to wait till. It's official.
You've written a couple of books, haven't you?
I wrote one book.
No, there's two. There's the one you actually give to the Inland Revenue. And there's the one you keep to yourself.
That is true, yeah.
Have you written a book?
Yeah, I've written a book, yeah.
An autobiography?
No, God, no. If I've learnt anything, it's the less that people know about me, the better. Just a book about jokes.
About jokes?
Yeah, not an amazing. It's not as good as this book. What expression are you making there? What were you shooting for?
Oh, this world.
It looks like kind of sort of pre your lip transplant. That was before you had lips.
What it is I'm actually too tight to pay for a photo shoot, so that's when someone else was having one, and just before he took the picture, I snuck
You photobombed someone else's photo.
That's exactly what it looks like. I'll just read you a small little passage. When I think about it now, the thought of my bony white body pressed up against hers and her having to tolerate my wet breath against her neck, it's a wonder to me that she was never sick into my face. Some self-esteem issues there, John.
It's one of those kiss and tell books where nobody gets kissed, but I tell anyway.
What's the last sentence?
The last sentence,
The last chapter's lovely.
Here's to many more years on the hunt.
I've written the book.
Well, go on, tell me more. I haven't seen this, I'm not aware. I thought
What it's about? I don't know what it's about. I've no idea what it's about. My problem is I can write, but I can't read. Well, I just wrote it. I don't know if it's a cookbook, historical fiction, an autobiography. I just write.
I have actually...
I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is.
I have actually...
It's another 400 pages, Sean.
OK, let's get some answers on this. Are you more likely to buy a book if it's written by a celebrity? We asked our audience, what do you think they said, yes or no?
Well, that's true, because the bookshelves are full of celebrities.
You're saying yes, OK. Yes or no, John?
The studio audience, no.
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 All right, you're going no, you're going yes. I can tell you the answer is no. Only 23% of our studio audience are more likely to buy a book if it's written by a celebrity. Personally, I don't care if a book's been written by a celebrity like Rod Stewart or Simon Cowell, or a member of the public like Kerry Katona. So at the end of that round, it's 3 points for Sean's team and 5 points for John's team. That's it for part 2. See you after the break. Welcome back to 8 out of 10 Cats, and the winner is the name of our final round. Here's your first one. Biggest sign you're lonely.
I always say, Jimmy, you're never alone with a good offer.
I'm sorry we're asking this question, but yeah, biggest sign you're lonely. What?
I'm fine. There's a big difference between being alone and being lonely, all right? So sometimes I'm on my own, and I'm all right. I'm all right! So everyone would stop asking me and just come round and ask me.
Is the biggest sign you're lonely setting up multiple accounts on Match.com and then asking yourself out on a date? I know someone who did that.
John?
The biggest sign you're lonely is probably if you use, like, the voice recorder on your phone, and then you, like, modulate it to sound more like a woman, and then you're like, oh, you're really sexy, Bobby. That's probably a sign, maybe not the biggest one, but it's like one of 3 that you need to talk to people.
Yeah, you definitely need to talk to people, and they need to be trained professionals. OK, biggest sign you're lonely. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I just think it's a tragic thing for anyone to experience, and I don't think we should be making jokes about it. If anybody had that reality in their life and they're watching this show now, I'd feel very sorry for them, because they'd feel like everyone was laughing at them and they're all alone, not able to enjoy a bit of company or something to take their mind off the loneliness that stalks their every waking moment and tolls like a bell in their head.
You should
When they
give...
think about the friendless, empty wasteland of their life. Lawn creatures. Yeah, but I know he watches it back on his own.
OK, what do you think?
Just sitting in the pub reading your own book quietly in the corner there, you know.
I'm going to give you a point for that, because the biggest sign that you're lonely is drinking alone.
Fuck off.
What was that, John? Did you hear that?
That was instantaneous, that reaction. One of the coolest things you can do.
Well, it sort of depends, doesn't it? There's a big difference between treating yourself to a glass of rosé on a sunny afternoon and sucking the alcoholic hand sanitizer out of a plastic dispenser in a hospital car park at 4 a.m. OK, best thing about a British holiday?
Is it the fact that you can take as much shampoo as you want with you? I go on holiday, when I go to Cromer, I'll take a big tub of shampoo, like that, big thing of it, and I'll open it up in the car. Nobody stops me. Nobody wrestles me to the ground. Put my hand in it. Oh, it's shampoo! Oh, look how dangerous I am. What are you going to do about it?
Since I moved here, for me, all of Britain is like a holiday, which is exciting. I live near this place, the Brixton McDonald's. I don't know if anyone's been there.
I think it's just called McDonald's in Brixton.
No. And it's great, because if I'm ever feeling like, oh, what am I doing with my life? I just go to the Brixton McDonald's at 4 in the morning, and then I'm like, I'm doing fine. I got a £50 fine there for putting out a cigarette out on the ground. And it's like, really? That's the thing you're focusing on here? Like, there's the team from The Wire dealing drugs all around me, and the guy's like, why didn't you just put it in the bin? There's a man shitting in the bin! That's a holiday for me, because I don't have to be alone in my apartment. Or flat, as you would call it.
Yeah, flat. That's the one thing we didn't understand in that. Have you ever had a holiday in the UK, example?
No, but I had to go to Skegness a few times last year for some gigs. We went up to the woman who was like our rep, and she said, oh, yeah, we've got some food for you. We've got an American, an Italian, and an English. And it was Burger King, Papa John's, and Wetherspoon.
The TV is one, though, British TV. Because when you go on holiday, there's always a point when you just had a shower and you want to watch a bit of telly, and it's all foreign, and you just end up watching rolling news. And the amount of news I've watched on holidays were just hours of, like, CNN, because it's the only... And you just want to hear an English voice. Just for a little while, I want to understand a conversation. And you can hear, well, President Obama today said... It's
a nice idea to go on holiday with someone else sometimes. That's actually number 10 on the list, is being able to watch British TV.
I'll tell you why I like a British holiday, is seeing the look of disappointment on your family's face when you tell them where we're going. And then you laugh like that. Norfolk!
Do you sort of drive up the M11, just sort of past the airport, and tell them just as you drive, oh, you missed the turning? No, no.
No, we're going to Norfolk. Have some shampoo!
OK, best thing about a British holiday?
Is it that you can still collect nectar points?
Is it the scenery?
Well, that is the right answer. The scenery. It's the best thing about a British holiday is the countryside. If you want to know what the countryside is really like, just watch Countryfile. It's that boring. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Bobby and John have 4 points. John, Example and Holly have 6 points. They're tonight's winners. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.